Good morning, everyone. It's good to see you. It's good to see all of you. Thank you for being here. Wow, this is a great crowd. The secretary says because we have a great announcement. Thank you all for being here. I'm delighted to be surrounded by neighbors. I see some of you all scattered in there and friends of York City. Thank you all for standing by the city of York as partners in the development of this project. We are excited. We are excited. It's really getting ready to happen, y'all. A special thank you to our Secretary of Community and Economic Development, C. Alan Walker, who's here with us today. Also, now State Representative Kevin Schreiber, who's with us as well. We have, it is what it is, guys. We have our county commissioners with us as well. Commissioner Hope, Commissioner Raleigh, good to see both of you. Thank you for being here as well. The Redevelopment Authority board members, our chair, David Cross, and Michael Black is here with us. Thank you very much. My favorite police chief, best chief in the whole wide world, Wes Kelly. And again, we have residents. I see Miss Paulette in the back there, Paulette Hawkins from Salem Square Neighborhood Association. Bill Farron is here. And of course, we have our community partners as well too. Larry Richardson of the YMCA. Thank you so much for being here, all of you. Thank you. And I really hope and pray I didn't miss anyone, but it is so good to see all of you. We are here making a special announcement. And again, I couldn't be more excited, as I already said. Work in this neighborhood goes back to my days of community development director and has continued through as your mayor. We know that neighborhood development is not easy work. It's taxing work. It's a lot of work, and it's long and hard, long years of getting it done too. All of you here can attest to that. You've been in the trenches with us, right along with us as we've been working to rebuild and revitalize this area. So thank you so much. I just looked up and saw our favorite architect as well, Frank Dittenhafer. Thank you, sir, for being here. This is difficult work, and it takes a long time. There are obstacles, many of them, and sometimes some pitfalls. But if you hang around me, you know we get back up, dust ourselves off, and keep it going. But what remains constant truth is that we remain resolved as a community and citizens to proceed forward despite all hurdles. We will accomplish good, and we have, and this is indicative of some of what we've already seen in this neighborhood. We will instill new pride and optimism in our community, and we will make sure our city is safer and our neighborhoods are cleaner. I can remember back serving as a community development director for our city. And there was one phrase, one saying, James Crosby in the back, I know you remember, that was never erased from my office whiteboard. And that was, it is all about the neighborhoods. I am delighted that I appointed a police chief, Wes Kelly, who too embraced that philosophy and put in place neighborhood enforcement units who are here with us today too. Sergeant Losty and crew behind you and everyone, thank you guys. We appreciate the safer neighborhood, the pride that residents now have in their neighborhoods again, and being able to sit on their porch. Chief, I know you're going to say some of those things, but we do appreciate you all very much. I know we wouldn't have this neighborhood without you. Thank you. And I am very proud also of my administration, obviously, and most especially our Economic and Community Development Department, including our Housing Bureau. I already mentioned James Crosby, Shavosky Buffalo, who serves and wears many hats right now. Thank you, sir. And I do thank each and every one of you. Again, I already thanked the police department, but we could not do it without you guys, and I thank you. Over time, we have most definitely taken important steps in the right direction, but there continues to be much more work to be done. All stakeholders that have invested in Salem Square, the neighborhood association, Lincoln Charter School, the YMCA, and our special faith-based partners know and appreciate the unique components of this project and the hard work that has gone into getting us to this process. We gather here today to proclaim our work is not done. And Mr. Secretary, my friends from all organizations and entities, we still have work to do. So we're delighted that we're all here today. It's a moment to pause and renew our commitment to each other and to these neighbors in this area. Together, we will continue our forward progress. the building that we're in and behind me all around this neighborhood, this one will be resurrected into a neighborhood beacon. We will continue to improve our Salem Square neighborhood under the direction and guiding spirit of Miss Joanne Borders. For her work is not yet done. And while we may have lost her along this journey, it has not ended for her, her work, and we know her spirit is with us. So we have a lot more to do, and we thank her for her leadership as well. It is crucial that each of us here today continue to maintain our vigilance for wellness of the Salem Square neighborhood. And my sincere thanks again to all of you for leading and lending a hand, if you will, in the collective effort of this building and this project and all that we've been doing already in this community. So I thank you very much for being here. And now it gives me great pleasure to welcome up to the podium my friend, State Representative Kevin Schreiber.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome, sir.
And along the lines of wellness, we also have Barb Kovacs from our Health Bureau, I know, and also Mr. Brian Krieger, who's not only a neighbor, but also has the Catalasso Health Center just up the street. So a man that is also walking the walk in our neighborhoods. But thank you. I am truly just excited to be here. This has certainly been a very long road, but it's been one paved in commitment and collaboration and hard work. And it's great to bring this project closer to fruition, as it's been a project that I worked on while I was with the City of York and continue as state representative. To Secretary Walker and Deputy Secretary Champ Holman, who is not here, but all of the great people working at DCED, past and present, you have been an excellent team. You have consistently supported all of the efforts in the City of York, and I can also say that DCED is really a very good friend to the City of York, so we thank you for the work that you do. Secretary Walker, DCD, you designated York, PA as Pennsylvania's first Elm Street community in our Old Town East neighborhood. And together, working with the City of York and the county, we were able to invest heavily in that neighborhood on our East End. Well, the Salem Square neighborhood was forecasted to be York's second Elm Street designation. Now, unfortunately, Elm Street fell victim in 2008 to severe budget reductions in DCD. Budget reductions we would like to build back into the coffers of DCD. But rather than allow this project in this neighborhood to evaporate, which certainly would have been easy, we did not. DCD, PHFA, the Redevelopment Authority, the City of York, the YMCA, the Neighborhood Association, the faith-based community, all continued to move forward. Homes were renovated, multi-units were deconverted to single family. One block behind us here was of fire-damaged homes was demolished and resurrected into new residential units, all through the help of PHFA and the City of York. In 2010, courtesy of a $250,000 grant from DCD at that point, we installed new sidewalks and new street lighting in this neighborhood. And as the mayor mentioned, and others may mention, it became clear that despite all of these efforts and all of this investment, the neighborhood was still plagued with problematic activities that arose from this property. The community rallied, the city rallied, the Redevelopment Authority, the Neighborhood Association, and several members of our faith-based community, our churches in this area, and some outside of the city, pooled money and pooled resources together to acquire this property in hopes to resurrect it and turn it around. The Commonwealth has been a partner throughout this process. Our state, DCED, continues to be a good friend. And this project is testament to community and commitment. And personally, I'm very grateful to everyone that is here today, and those that could not be, and certainly those that we've lost along the way. But while with the city, I can say Shelvosky and I attended countless neighborhood meetings. Salem Square Neighborhood Association has always been more than welcoming and inviting. We were there as recent as 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I can attest that our police officers, every single neighborhood meeting at Salem Square that I have ever been to, at minimum Sergeant Lotzi was there, if not Perry, some of our other guys working alongside residents and hearing direct from them. Dave Cross and the Redevelopment Authority Board have continued to show a willingness to stick their neck out, to take on risky ventures, even with uncertain, without the certainty for success. Paulette Frank Hawkins kept us apprised of what's going on in the neighborhood, and all of our residents out here have remained consistently optimistic and always welcome and always welcoming. Habitat has improved properties in this area. We're only a few blocks from our city's largest community garden that's been governed and overseen by Miss Annie Clark and Lincoln Charter, partnering with other schools in our community. So we're here today to celebrate just one more accomplishment in Salem Square. One more accomplishment to celebrate among a very many. So Mr. Secretary, this amount of money that you are going to announce here shortly is much more than just simply an investment in this building. It's much more than just an investment in brick and mortar. It's an investment in community. It's an investment in neighborhood pride. It's an investment in property value, in quality of life, in quality of place, in the creation and generation of wealth in a neighborhood. It's this building. It's much more than just an investment in brick and mortar. It's an investment in community. It's an investment in neighborhood pride. It's an investment in property value, in quality of life, in quality of place, in the creation and generation of wealth in a neighborhood. It's in public safety, and it's in community commitment and small business. And that, my friends, is how you rebuild a neighborhood. It's how you rebuild a city. You do it one block at a time, block by block, and building by building, house by house, neighbor by neighbor. It could not be done without government and citizens working together, and that today is manifested here in the Salem Square neighborhood. So I thank you all very much for coming out today, and each and every one of you has played a absolutely critically important role. But as the mayor said, and the mayor has charged us, there is still work to be done. So it is my pleasure, I suppose, while I'm at the microphone, just to invite our Secretary of Department of Community and Economic Development, a gentleman that both Mayor Bracey and I met with very early on. And within his early days of being appointed secretary, he immediately said it is all about cities. So he has consistently been there to support us, and as mentioned, so has his team. So ladies and gentlemen, Secretary of DCD, C. Alan Walker. Thanks.
Well, I thank you for that warm welcome, and I say warm and I mean it because I'm from Clearfield, Pennsylvania, and we have 2 seasons there, winter and July. So this is real comfortable for me. I also have to tell you that I experienced some of your York hospitality and the importance of neighborhoods. You know, I'm an old guy, so I had to take a nature break, and I walked out front and I said, "Is there a restroom nearby?" And one of my friends stepped up and said, "I'm going to take you to my home. I'll take you to my home." Now that's a good neighbor, and I really appreciate that. This is my second visit to York in 3 weeks. I was here about 3 weeks ago to make a nice presentation to York College. A great institution. I like their mission. They want to be part of the city, and they are really working to develop the neighborhoods around the campus and do really good economic development in that part of the city. And again, if you have a college or university in your city that's willing to go beyond their borders and reach out and really integrate with the neighborhoods, you have a real asset there. And I saw that in York College, so I commend you for that too, and the leaders of York College. So Mayor Bracey, Representative Schreiber, members of the local community, thank you for the invitation to join you this morning. Days like today remind me of why Pennsylvania is such a great place to work and live, and another step forward in building a stronger Pennsylvania, not only for the present, but for generations to come. Over the past 3 years, Governor Corbett has worked to reform our great Commonwealth, to eliminate the deficit, and to jumpstart our economy to ensure that good family-sustaining jobs grow and prosper in Pennsylvania. Job creation and economic progress require strong communities, and nobody recognizes that more than Governor Corbett. In the past 3 years, the governor has returned solvency to the Act 47 fund and increased funds to expand the early intervention program. The Center for Local Government Services has gone from reactive to proactive in an effort to better fulfill its mission as the principal advocate for local governments. To encourage public-private collaboration in our communities, Governor Corbett increased the Neighborhood Assistance Program from $8 million in 2010-11 to $18 million in 2011-12, and the budget proposal calls for it to remain at $18 million in 2014-15. And we continue to help communities build and plan for the future through the Keystone Communities Program. The Corbett administration recognizes that in order to develop vibrant and sustainable communities, you cannot just rely on government. In a similar way, you cannot only rely on the community. Building strong public-private partnerships lead the way to success. Today is a great example of what can be accomplished when we all work together. So on behalf of Governor Corbett, I am very proud to award a $250,000 Keystone Communities grant to the Redevelopment Authority of the City of York. So I saw the check.
I'll look
We
at
got to
it.
get a picture, Eddie.
That's our chairman right there, David Cross.
Come on up, guys. We'll do the photo op.
I've never met a mayor who would miss a photo op.
How about the neighborhood? How about the little boy come up here with us, please? Thank you, sir.
There you go. Come on,
Thank you.
Wow.
Appreciate that, all right? This is what
Thank you.
Thank you.
We can do one after too.
Oh, yeah. All right, thank you.
Thank you. This grant award will help you transform what was once a nuisance into a new opportunity for Salem Square. Prior to coming to DCED, we successfully utilized the Main Street program in my hometown of Clearfield. And from my past experience, when you pull everyone together and you develop a strategic plan for the future can be bright. But it has to be a partnership with the leadership has to come at the local level. You're not going to have a solution imposed on you. I'm going to tell you my one story about trying to really improve a downtown area because it shows you that you can make mistakes. We were looking for a theme for the downtown of Clearfield, and I know some of you have been here in Clearfield because some of you told me you hunted up in Clearfield County. But anyway, we wanted a theme, and the thing that's very unique about Clearfield is the Susquehanna River goes right through the middle of the town, It divides into Clearfield and West Clearfield. So we thought that would be our theme and our branding. So we wanted to get banners made for our street lights in Clearfield, and we came up with a theme of Clearfield. It was Serenity on the Susquehanna, because the Susquehanna just weaves its way right through town. So we had 150 banners made. The city manager called me when they came in, and I went down because I was going to hold up the first banner for a picture and for the paper. Pulled it out of the box, and it said Clearfield, Pennsylvania, senility on the Susquehanna. So it shows the importance of proofreading and not having your banners made in China, okay? So I'm very glad that we're doing the reshoring. But the second part of the Main Street is the Elm Street, because you can have a beautiful downtown, which you do here in York, you really do, but you have to do the neighborhoods, and that's what Elm Street is all about. So I'm very pleased that the governor recognized what you're doing here at Salem Square and is making a contribution to really help get the project off the ground. And I know it may be overwhelming at times, and you may not know where to start, but the most important thing is that you do have a start. Because just as blight can become contagious, so can efforts to revitalize a community. And that's what I saw in Clearfield. We built a new YMCA in Clearfield, and I know you have the director of the Y here, which became the anchor for our downtown renaissance. 2 years after we finished the Y, which is a beautiful building, a major bank announced that they would put their corporate headquarters downtown. And had it not been for the Y, the bank wouldn't have come down there. So success builds on success. A fresh start from a town square can jumpstart the rebirth of a neighborhood, which in turn spills over into another neighborhood, and so on. Your efforts will truly result in a stronger community and a better quality of life for the people of this community. It's a public-private partnership the Corbett administration is proud to support. So on behalf of Governor Corbett, thank you for the great work you are doing here and to help build a stronger Pennsylvania. And again, Mayor, I agree with you. This little guy here is what it's all about. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. It is an honor, and we appreciate the support of the state, Governor Corbett, and the entire administration with the work that we are doing here in the city of York. We also want to recognize Habitat for Humanity, who did some of the interior demolition we're standing among right now. Watch your heads. But we do appreciate them bringing in some students last year, maybe this time. It was cold, I remember that, and tearing up the place as taking it down. So we appreciate them being part of it, and I believe Congressman Perry's office is represented. Bob, are you? I was told Bob Riley is here. Appreciate your support of Congressman as well. Next, Police Chief Wes Kelly has a few words to say. Thank you.
Morning. It's going to be few because I'm cold. I'm actually warm because I'm standing here looking around, and this is probably the first time I've stood in this building in a positive light. I can't go back and remember all the negative encounters that I've had in this building over the last 26 years. So it's nice to stand in here and be for something that's very positive. The neighborhood unit is here, and I have to, and I know the mayor thanked them already, but Sergeant Losty and I'll call you Detective Sowers, Officer Adderhold, and Officer Perry were the officers that worked in this neighborhood and worked to get rid of this blight that was here. And no one sees what they do really. They work in the middle of the night most of the time, but they care about this neighborhood. As Representative Shriver said, they attend the meetings and they partner with Salem Square, who's been a great partner for them. So without them, I really don't believe that we'd be standing here today in a positive light in something that was so negative to this neighborhood. Their efforts in getting rid of this bar, their efforts in the crime reduction in this neighborhood, and again, we're nowhere near where we want to be yet, but since they've been in place here, every year we've had double-digit crime reductions in this neighborhood in the whole area of the West End here that they covered. So it's their efforts, it's their working with the community, it's the efforts of Salem Square and the people that live here that can make that change. And as the Secretary said, when you have success, it builds upon success, and we're going to continue to do that. So I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank the officers once more. My hat's off to them for the great work that they did. On behalf of Detective Sowers, I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to the district champion York High Bearcats, because he wanted me to do that. So thank you very much.
Only Chief Kelly. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. And we do appreciate the work of our police department. I think one of my favorite stories Sergeant Losty has shared was about the resident who felt comfortable sitting back on their porch, on their front porch in the summer evening again. And that's what it's about, creating the neighborhoods again that people feel comfortable to be a part of. We have our Redevelopment Authority Board Chair holding a big check there, Dave Cross. Come on up, sir.
Unlike the secretary, I can't feel my face.
You're so happy.
I am smiling, I swear. Just real quick, a little bit about the Redevelopment Authority and myself, and it's really not so much to take credit for anything. I think the one thing you hear over and over again in these speeches, and I'm not sure it really sinks in, but there are a lot of people involved in these things, and it goes back to somewhat your story about the YMCA. I mean, in some ways, that is very similar to this story. Yeah. Were not for the YMCA as a development entity coming into this community, I don't think we'd be as focused on what we're doing here today. So I just want to reiterate, and I did say reiterate, but it came out the other way because my face won't move. That we're just a piece of that. I mean, we really are. And I want to thank Michael and the RDA as well. I've been on the RDA for longer than I care to admit, and the years somehow snuck up, and someone recently reminded me it's been more than 18 years. And Michael, I think you just told me you've got 14 in, which is just hard to believe. And I've been chair of the RDA since 2007. Just real quick, the RDA is a municipal authority. It's created by the city, but we're separate from the city. And in many ways, we operate as a separate entity. We're governed by a 5-person volunteer board, and every one of those individuals is extremely committed to what we do. Most of them are city residents, most of them are your neighbors, most of them work downtown, most of them are really engaged in all of the issues and are very much supportive of the cause. They're volunteers. They're business people, they're your neighbors. As I said, they're wonderful people, and they're very committed. You know, in my long tenure as the RDA, I've always known it, and in fact, prided it on its ability to adapt to an ever-dynamic market. We roll up our sleeves, we dig in the trenches, we do a lot of the heavy lifting. And again, I'm not looking for a pat on the back, but this is a lot of hard work in terms of cobbling together funding, resources, everything it takes to get a project like this done. Since its creation in the 50s, the York Redevelopment Authority has always played an instrumental role in progressive redevelopment throughout the city of York. We focus on the mitigation of blight, the stabilization of neighborhoods. You know, I regret that our work is seemingly unending. Kevin and I recently have come to the conclusion that there's an uncanny relationship to our work and the economy. And in fact, when the economy is booming, our work is not nearly as heavy. But when things are tough, when the economy is down, our workload goes way up. And unfortunately, for the last 5 or 6 years, we've had more than enough to do. I've always seen our role as the authority to be complementary to that of the city, to serve as the workhorse for community and economic development, and as I've said, to roll up our sleeves and be willing to step out front, take the risk, and be bold for the sake of the community. Those principles are clearly manifested here today. Despite the best efforts of our city and state, investment in new housing, new sidewalks, infrastructure, walking police units, all of the things we've talked about before, Salem Square still struggled. Together with a host of partners, we pooled our resources. The RDA contributing $45,000 through a partnership with the neighborhood, faith-based community to acquire the property. Through a long community effort and now the great and timely, I might add, support from the Commonwealth, we can proceed to redevelop this property. I'm not one for speeches and ceremony, but I can say I'm proud of the work of the RDA. We've done a lot of great things here, and this is just another great example of that. I want to thank you all for coming today. I want to particularly thank State DCED Secretary Walker for coming, and obviously for that really big check. I'd like to thank the mayor for her faith in us. I've worked very closely with Mayor Bracey, and I can tell you she's a great partner in this process. She's very supportive of what we do, and without that, we really would be nowhere. You know, I'd only end with we still have a lot of work to do, and we're busy. We got a lot of issues to address in our city, but we keep knocking it down one piece at a time, and this is another pretty significant piece. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, David. We do appreciate the partnership with the Redevelopment Authority, and Michael, I appreciate you being here as well too. Thank you all. Next, we will hear from Salem Square Neighborhood Association, Paulette Hawkins representing.
Good morning, good morning. Unlike Chief Kelly, I am cold, so I'm going to be very short. Salem Square Neighborhood Association would like to thank all who were instrumental in the changes being made to Salem Square. How do we gauge success? Well, for the Salem Square community, it's seeing changes that affect our community and the people that live here. We look back and we are amazed at how far we've come. I feel good seeing neighbors and interacting with one another, smiling faces, and hearing the children laugh. We could not do it alone, but with the help of all involved, it's getting done. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Paulette, and thank you to all the neighbors and residents that are here. I mean, again, without your partnership, none of this would be possible. Finally, but not least, one of our biggest community partners in this project, President and CEO of YMCA of York and York County, Larry Richardson. Please come forward, sir.
Thank you, Kim. It sounds like I'm last, so I'm going to be really short. That leads to be part of a team that is, as you have heard, been very persistent and perseverance. A team of folks and people and neighbors and entities that just refuse to abandon their post when the times got tough. And if I can inject a little theology into today, because that's the foundation of why we do community development work. Paul, in his letter to the Philippians, talks about many obstacles that he faced, but despite those obstacles, he continued to press on. And if you look around this room and hear the people that have spoke here, first you take a look at the neighbors, how long they have pressed pressed on. The Salem Square Neighborhood Association, how long they've pressed on. The city police, how long they've pressed on. The city itself, the Redevelopment Authority, the state, everybody who is here have continued to press on. And it's just a privilege of ours to be part of that team, to see the renaissance that's happening. But we know, and as many have said, the work is not done. So we pledge as an association, as the YMCA, on behalf of our board and on behalf of our Community Development Corporation, we will continue to work side by side, not abandon the post, and continue to press on until this job is done. So thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Always appreciate the theology you offer. Thank you, Pastor. Okay, so it's a good thing, though. I mean, no, that wasn't his. That was great. I mean, he always does that to me, inspire me in that way. We are ready to do some groundbreaking.
Yes.
We're going to move over to that wall over there, Shabosky Buffalo. I see you kind of running now, but over there where he's at, and there's some shovels and hats and stuff over there, I guess. And we asked Mr. Secretary and others to join us over there.
All right.
All righty. One more. Okay. One more.